The following takes place between
6 and 7 a.m. and the camera would come down this hallway, dark and slow and dark, like just like 24. And you get to my bedroom door and you'd look in, and I would be sleeping because that is all I'm doing it between 6 and 7 a.m.
Events occur in real time.
Soren and I are back at U-Pull and Pay. There he is. Hi, Soren. Getting some plumbing for our B230 FT to fit the turbo in there. Here's a beautiful wagon. It's new. It came about 2 days ago because we saw it on the other side of the fence. Oh, on the jewelry box. I love this old red interior. It's so much fun. 1987. The temp tag from 2 years ago. That's very common here. People will just sell them. Hey, check it out. Could it be? It's a Christmas miracle. I'm never the first one to get this.
That's all I'm doing probably till about noon if I can help it. Because, you know, the thing about getting up in the morning, kind of giving this a lot of thought, is that, like, why should I?
So we drove in that white V70, all-wheel drive. Just needed a radiator. And it needs shocks. And I got to use my new tool. All right.
Very nice.
Okay, here we're back at the old, what is this, a 13C? Huh, there's a nut inside the compressor wheel. I think that's one of our exhaust studs we were trying to find. Nuts. So that's the drain for it here, and you see how it gets wider at the bottom. What we're gonna do is put this in our block and then try to meet it with the one that's on the 19T that they had the rubber sleeve on, and weld them in the middle. Thomas, Master's Touch, best Volvo shop in Albuquerque. By the way, shameless plug right there. I have a 16T at home that has the lines as well, and we can verify that. And we want to keep all these banjo bolts because they are going to be the sizes we need to worry about. Oh, this is our oil feed on the 19T. It's just been kind of modified. I just matched the thread pitch with a couple pipe fittings. I ain't crazy about that. Ain't a word, by the way. Okay, we can save that bolt. This is why the Junkyard's really great. Do what you need. I've also become really good at one-arm mechanicking since I hold my phone. By the way, that rear seat right there, it's so comfy to lay on underneath the car that I almost took it home and shoot, it's softer than my futon, which is a bed.
Don't fell from the sky.
How does that? Little Audi turbo, probably for like a 1.8. What is it, the A4? So that's kind of what we want. A nice flexible junction in the middle. If we go to Pico and get that made, it'll be at least $100. It's a variable positioning turbo. So as the engine rotates, this also will rotate with it, and it's independent of the compressor wheel inside. So it's really quite a nifty design. I'm very proud of the Germans for coming up with this. Now BMW doesn't do this because they're smart and they leave their bolts in.
Good-ish.
Yeah.
Can't give an accurate reading.
So not all white block dipsticks are the same. What's up, Bobby?
Not much, man.
Good to see you, brother.
You too.
We just at the Junkyard again today.
Is that right?
It's got that hole in the block. Who's that?
David Bellows. That's one of my viewers named Rudy.
Hey, Rudy, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I've been liking a lot of videos. Good Dad 1975, man. I've been watching your videos, the restoration of that little, oh my God, yo. Big videos, man.
Ah, thanks, mate. Where are you from?
I'm in Maine. All my kids watch your videos, man. Kid friendly.
I'll be up there later this year, man. I'd love to meet with you.
Oh, yeah. Just let me know. Just say it on the video and watch your videos. I get alerts.
That's the best way. Thanks so much, dude. We're at Yearwood. Very helpful people, very helpful place. And we're going to get a fitting made here. I just tripped. This is the high pressure side, and we're working on the drain for the turbo here. Got ourselves a -10 or a -10 AN line with some compression fittings.
14.6, I have a push on.
All right, shopping list at Yearwood. Oh, we bought a lot of stuff, and this was about $150 worth of fittings in line. This is how to make your turbo oil feed and oil return for a non-13C or non-factory B230 FT engine. This is a -10 or -10 AN hose, which is for the oil drain. Currently, they just had that other setup on there, and it wasn't good. They used the rubber lines, and threw some hose clamps on, and then no, it's not going to work for us. Here's the compression fittings for either side on that, and of course it's threaded here on the top, so that means we're going to be taking this. So the turbo will start with this guy and then go into those compression fittings and then down to the braided line at the bottom. It will dump into the block where we will have to weld this into the existing pipe here on the bottom of the turbo pipe. So it's good, it's a little bit more metal there. We like that idea. On the supply side of the turbo, coming out of the turbo, we've got this here. It's our 12 by 1.5 4AN. That's going to go into line adapter. Yep, that's right. And the line adapter goes in here. And then we've got 2 feet of braided hose that'll go down behind the oil filter. We're gonna have the banjo bolt, which we're gonna be using the factory banjo bolt, which is a M14 by 1.5. This is a 9/16 banjo fitting with the copper washers. I'm confident we'll make it work. And if there's any problems, I'll make adjustments. Here we have the assortment of things that we're going to put on this engine today. It's going to be great. It's going to be tremendous, fabulous. The best parts you've ever seen, a couple $100, but it's chump change for us. We make a lot of money. We're pretty much self-made millionaires. That's what it is. Here we have gaskets for the whole engine, everything. We need oil, cleaner, transmission fluid for the power steering, coolant. Right here's the important stuff. This is our oil feed supply, because they kind of went cheap with that one. So we're going to repeal and replace the affordable oil supply, also known as Obama feed, with this set from Yearwood here. We have a new exhaust bunk for the O2 sensor because we have a wideband. We need to make good signals, really good signals, great signals. Right now it's bad signals, terrible, absolutely disgraceful. It's going to be a busy day. Hopefully we don't use everything so we can return it and make some money back. Because we were at $1 million, now we're at like $800,000. We need to get back to $1 million. We need to get back, we need to make it there again. Okay, yeah, it's cheap. It's easy to put in a heater hose or something and have your oil drain. Cheap. This is what happens. It's just, ugh.
It's so brittle.
I know. Oh, it's only,
Look how nasty that
I mean,
is.
sure, you'll get by every year or two. This is unacceptable. Swollen. Oh, it feels kind of cool. This is what happens when you inherit someone else's work. I was told that this car came with an 18T turbo, and we're cleaning it up, and I'm like, you know, this remarkably resembles a 13C. Yes, it is. TD04H 13C. It's the original turbo that comes on the B230 FT engines. The bad news is it's tiny. It's tiny, tiny. I've got a 16T right here. Not very similar. The exhaust side is very different. That's got an angled flange, large 3-bolt. This is a small cone, you know, 3-bolt as well. You also have to clock that turbo if you want it to work. Basically, we've got to run this one for now, which means all that Yearwood stuff we're not going to be needing. Maybe one day if we do get a larger turbo, we can just replumb everything the way we intended. But until then, looks like we have to just plug this one back in. It also means that the previous owner, 2 owners ago, pulled the 18T and put this on there and then just sold the car. So kind of disappointing because they just forwarded me the original sale post from like 4 years ago and it said 18T, so that was exciting. It sounds like I'm saying AT&T.
Yep.
18 turbo. Disappointing, but you know, it's there. Oh boy, what an adventure this is turning out to be. We've got 2 turbos, and we don't want to use one, and the other one we want to use, but we just need to make some modifications to that hot side, the exhaust flange. Also, gonna stop by a friend's house, good old Nick with the 940, and we're gonna see what he's got in the way of turbos and what we can use there as well. It looks like all the plumbing should be okay. All the fittings we bought work out and everything else, so just a matter of going through everything now, cleaning up. I'm gonna start by cleaning, and it's 4 o'clock, so it's gonna be a busy night, long night, long night. This is the oil screen and the oil pickup tube here underneath the oil pan on this B230F, and you can see all this debris that was stuck in the screen. We have O-ring, a green O-ring. There is a bunch of plastic and a little bit of silicone and a little bit of metal. So be very careful when you're siliconing things, especially like the oil pan, because it's supposed to be a dry installation on these gaskets for the oil pan. Going to goop, if you lose a lot, it's going to go in on the inside. Oil will eventually, you know, heat up and cool down enough that it might just break off those extra boogers and they'll fall in and get picked up by the oil sump. Lowering your oil pressure, not what you want. Luckily there's a screen, which is good. It won't go inside of the engine and cause major problems, but it's still going to probably contribute to lower oil pressures if it's restricting flow through that screen and that pickup tube. So we're slowly pulling apart things from the original engine and getting it ready for swapping into this engine here. Got another thunderstorm on the way. Forecast is looking pretty good. High of 45 today. I'm just making this up. By now we all know that it's pretty common knowledge that these alternator bolts like to break off in the block. It looks like the bushing, the polyurethane bushing, has disintegrated. It's the first time I've ever seen a polyurethane bushing do that. Okay, so this is 66 millimeter eBay turbo.
Yeah, 60, 66.
That's big.
Yes.
And everyone said so, but it was fun.
It
once
was a lot of fun. I loved it. It was awesome on the manual. Very, very awesome.
This is a 14B. This is a DSM turbo, 90 to 95 Mitsubishi clips and Eagle talons and all that. And this is a Garrett T3, you said, or T4?
T4? I think it was a T3. T4?
T3 or T4.
Somebody would know.
And that was on the car I sold you. I have no memory of this one.
This was the flange that was on. This flange.
Oh, I see. There's an adapter.
Was on here.
Oh, okay.
And to get this to work on the 940, I had to run that one.
And these guys here were machined out a little bit?
Yeah, this one was milled flat.
Yeah, at the
because
base.
It has that gasket on it, and then it was bored out on the exhaust side. So this is all stock.
Okay.
It's just this is all bored out. The only issue I had was when the screws here would start to back out, but
are they okay now?
Yeah.
The way you set them in?
Yeah, I put them in there really well.
Okay, good. How am I going to hook these up since there's two of them?
You hook this one up. I know this is the one that I used for the wastegate, and it always worked. That was when I got the turbo. It had a wastegate instruction, and it said to use that one, and it said nothing about that one. It just showed the one.
Yeah. This is almost 4 fingers in right here, man.
Yeah.
That's how I measure turbos. Yeah. This little guy, 2.5, it's a joke. This thing, that's a pretty good sized turbo. Now.
I mean, whose fingers are you using?
Yeah, I got somewhat skinnier fingers. How do you remember this one on the car? Did you like it?
When it would get really, really high into boost, and then you'd come to like a dead stop, it'd blow smoke out.
Because of the seal?
I think maybe there was a seal starting to go on it.
I think we're gonna go with the big mamma jamma. Everyone likes a big turbo,
if you have
but
a manual, you'll be able to run that.
I hope it spools. Yeah, we're probably gonna break the 47 really quick with this thing on because it's just not gonna like it. Soren's gonna downshift one day and it's gonna just pop a gear. They don't handle a lot of power. What injectors did you run?
I had the green tops on there.
I've got green tops on there too. There she is.
Now a 16T.
It's the 16T, and on the hot side, you guys have a conical flange, which pretty much matches the 13C. So basically, it's the compressor wheel that's changed on the front. That's really the main difference between all these.
But I had nothing to do with that. That was on the car when I got it.
I would like to line them up once we have that turbo.
I want to do it again.
We got to do the 240 versus this 940.
Yeah.
Do-de-do-de-do-de-do. What a day, what a day. Can you tell that there was a bad head gasket on this one? Oh my goodness. That is not okay. So it looks like with this giant 60, 66 millimeter, whatever it was, on the feed line, it's bigger than what we have. This is the thread size here. This is what, an M14 by 1.5 or an M12? I think M12. And it's just not fitting in there. But if you look at the return, it seems to fit perfectly with the Volvo OEM setup from the 940. And when you're looking straight up, it's right about center on the bolt. This one's a little bit lower. That means if we wanted to use this factory oil drain to make it fit, we would need to take a little bit off of the top here. If we're welding anything, we're going to go with a stainless braided hose and then just weld it at the bottom with another receiver.
Or you could do like I have on the 940 where it goes, there's a huge difference.
We don't know what cam is in our engine.
Okay, well if you have the IPD cam, I'm pretty sure it's got like drill outs on the front of it. So where he marked the reverse and the advanced on there, and then you have your stock timing, there's going to be drill outs so you can advance the cam some way.
It's not the kind where you loosen the Allen bolts and turn it. It's
Not
the
like
kind
an
where
IPD
it comes off and it rotates 90 degrees, and there's 3 different spots where you could rotate 90 or 180. That would really mess with timing if the whole cam was 90 degrees up. I'll have to find out exactly what kind of cam it is, and if it's got any adjustment like that. I want to find out, because that's a big turbo. We need all of the low end torque that we can get, because this is going to bring us a lot of high end power. I changed spark plugs a lot. I got the iridiums. The iridiums are supposed to last a year, but you want a hotter plug. I think it's a lower number, so like the BPR 5, or I don't know exactly how they. I think these run 6s. I would go and buy like a stack of spark plugs and just like of different brands, and just test out what I liked, and I would gap them differently, and see what kind of performance I was getting different with them. Now that we have our turbo picked out, we just need a blow-off valve. What do you got?
So I have this
all right
eBay one, which I did like.
It's already on a pipe.
I liked it a lot more than the HKS one I had, because the HKS one seemed like it had a preset spring. It squealed.
This is adjustable for how sensitive it is to letting off vacuum. So if you want it to chirp every time.
It'd be like a loud squeal or a whoosh of air. This is what makes it really squeal really well. I've taken that out, and it just, and left the setting at it, and it just kind of whoosh, gave it whatever noise. It needs some cleaning.
Oh man, so if I have problems with pipes. And this one, it's the same flange mount.
Yeah.
You got to put a ring
sequential blow-off valve. That was like the eBay super sequential blow-off valve. That was like comparable to the new HKS triple sequential, super sequential blow-off valve. I don't know.
Continuously variable sequential.
Yeah, they all sounded the same on YouTube. So I went with the one that I liked the most. And
so this is a genuine HKS?
Yeah.
Because man, some of these people go to lengths to replicate.
That's why I feel like holding on to it. It's like,
yeah, this one's not adjustable.
This was not adjustable, so I really had to like get it high up into boost and let off for it to squeal.
So there's just some side damage.
All fixable.
But it's a flat hood.
It's a beautiful flat hood.
What's your asking price?
I'm trying to sell the 940, and I'd love to get rid of the 240. If somebody came at me and wanted to buy both cars, I've got a motor and a transmission, more turbo stuff for those cars. I've got computers, a bigger fuel pump, David, if you need a S80 T6 fuel pump.
Is that what you should be using when you're in high boost? Or
yes.
Maybe they already put one in, I don't remember.
So I have a couple of those. I've got lots of green cap fuel injectors.
And it's a two-door. It's 242.
It's a two-door, yeah. Lots of stuff to go with it.
This is brilliant. Use the socket to space out your stand. If you're new to potato farming, this is how basically the compressor wheel looks once the housing is removed off of it. The nice snail-looking thing. It's essentially mated through a shaft all the way through with a bearing, and then the bearing gets oiled and cooled through here. And there's your hot side. Boom. That's basically the core of a turbo. And so when you're talking about 13C, the 14B, 15G, 16T, 18T, 19T, largely talking about the size of the compressor wheel. The housings are very relatively similar. And then that 60 millimeters got a big housing. 65 on the
66.
60, and this is a 66.
You moved up into a world, so you got to remember those numbers.
Oh my goodness, I will. I'll write it down on the thing. And the compressor wheel's a 66. It's a lot to remember. We've been doing this for a couple of years, and I'm still absent-minded.
How do you remember every number?
This basically is going to conclude day 3. These things are spinning at 60,000 RPM around there.
Yeah, they quoted them at like $3,000 for an OEM turbo, because it's like on the way the Audi setup is, the exhaust side is all a part of the manifold, and then you have the compressor side.
Ugh.
And this big like baffling Audi 2.0 turbo.
Oh, no, we saw one today. We pulled some hardware off of it, the little A4.
Yeah,
it was a tiny guy. This is not a very big one then.
No, they're small.
Yeah, for a fart smella, I mean a smart fella.
Yeah,
well, I guess I know a thing or two.
Or nice. Cologne.
Oh,
face cleaner.
Yeah,
eye wash.
It's anything you need it to be.
Pretty much. If you need to clean, you got it.
It's true.
Not only is it brake cleaner, it cleans it all up.
It's true turbo brick style. Just in case people are curious, it does get covered. And it's for sale. It's been a couple hours I've been working on this engine, and the camshaft in the old engine here, it's probably an IPD cam. It's unmarked on the backside here, so there's no letters. You can see that it says T here for T-cam. There's nothing on that. IPD's camshafts have colored bands on them, and I've seen orange and blue. Orange for the non-turbo, I believe, and blue is the turbo. This is green. That is definitely green. So what camshaft was green? I can't find information on it. Another obvious way of identifying this cam, sort of obvious for me, was that the oil channel here on that front journal is a little bit wider on the right than it is on the left here. On the T cam that's cast by Volvo, they're the same size. So that's another way. These markings here, HGT, that looks like it's a number 10 casting mark. I don't think they mean anything at the moment, and it's just hard to find anything about it. A couple of nice things that I do like is that the duration on this cam is a lot bigger. Notice how they're a lot pointier versus the softer, rounder edges here. You know, it's a lot sharper and a little bit longer duration there. That's nice. As well as the timing on it is different. I think it's a little retarded. No offense. Or advanced. Yeah, whichever one you prefer. You know, whichever one's the right one. I don't know. It's late, and I'm just really hoping to get this finished so I can move on with my life, because I have so many other things to do. But yeah, there's everything kind of apart on these two engines, and I got to start swapping accessories, pumps over. I'll check back in another hour. Okay, it's 6 a.m. I've been up all night, and I don't work very well when I'm tired because things are a little bit backwards here. For example, got the timing belt on the new engine. I popped out that, see, I can't even think what it's called. It's like a freeze plug here. But as you can see, there are no gears on the left side. Nothing has been meshed, so I have to pull it out of this engine to run the distributor. That's the gear right here. And of course there's a couple bearings, and then it runs the spinning thing on the back. This shaft right here. This is becoming a big mess. I was able to get the turbo line for the supply using the OEM line and a smaller banjo bolt. Hopefully that's sealed up okay. The drain. I'll have to figure something out. Another problem with having to pull this out on this engine is that I already put in the front main seal and the camshaft seal. Ergo, I'm going to have to be very careful when I put everything back. Also, I don't have the paper gasket for the front, so I'm going to have to figure something out there. This sucks. Okay, last call. It's 6:40 in the morning. I'm going to bed. Overnight, this is what I got done. Turbo's installed. The feed line is on there. The oil cooler is there. I had to put a T there where the oil pressure sending unit and the oil pressure sensor are. Hopefully that does not interfere with the position of the alternator, because I can't rotate that sensor anymore. Yeah, I'm tired. What else? Managed to get the timing belt on here. I did a cam swap from both engines and had to pull out this guy because I need the gears. What else did I do tonight? Let's see if I can remember. Here's the pile of everything. I got the oil pans off. Or one oil pan. I still have to do the transmission, the clutch, and all that. The water pump, that's a big one. The seals, the front main, the two camshafts. Yep. What else? Man, how did that pass 8 hours? I don't know what I'm forgetting. Yeah, it just takes a long time to be diligent. I think struggling with that pipe was a couple hours just to get this oil feed. I was using a different line. This one here. Oh, terrible. And then going through all my boxes of parts, different banjo bolts and things like that. Oh yeah. Doesn't look like it's going to be done on time. We have more work to do and I need to sleep. So, good night. This concludes. Oh yeah, hey, it's a new day. It's coming together slowly but surely. I also spent an hour on this. Soren brought something up that I overlooked.
And then I weld this right here onto the hard line.
I'm surrounded by red blocks. Whole set. It's so big.